Hi, everyone. So glad you're here. Welcome to all of our new subscribers. I'm delighted that you found me and the channel, and we're here to support you with understanding your human design. And today we're going to talk about the new moon in Gemini. We just moved into Gemini season, and we have a new moon coming up right away on the 26th or the 27th, depending on where you are in the world. And we've got some really potent and beneficial alignments happening when we know how to use them. So let's go ahead and dive in. So before we dive into the specifics of that, I want to let you know about two things. First of all, the registration just opened for the Sovereign Sisterhood. The Sovereign Sisterhood is our sacred container for awakening women in the Aquarian age. And we dive into many different topics having to do with human design and feminine sovereignty and astrology. And this has been going, we've been going almost for a year. And it's an opportunity for you to go deeper with what you're working with human design, and with your evolutionary process more generally. We talk about lots of different things. And the theme that we're going to use for the summer semester that is starting in June and will run through September is life purpose. We're going to be diving into the incarnation cross, where you are in your life cycle, how we can use the power of your heart center and your G center, and also how to reclaim some of your innate interests and your desires that maybe have gotten suppressed or rejected or haven't received the attention that they truly deserve because maybe they didn't fit into what the culture said was valuable and yet are innate and core to you. So we're going to be diving into those different topics over the course of this summer. And registration just opened for it. And I did do a master class. I'll put the link for the master class and the link for the registration page down below, so you can check it out. And registration will be open until June 2nd. So you have a little while to peruse it and check it out. And do reach out to me if you want to chat about it all, if you have questions or you just want to talk about it, because I'm happy to jump on Zoom and chat for a few minutes. And then the other is that we are closing in on the Human Design Transit Self-Study Program, which I've mentioned a couple of times. And there is an opportunity for you to get on a waiting list for that. So when it becomes available, you'll be among the first to get it. And so we'll put the link for that down below as well. If you know that you just really want some hand-holding and some step-by-step instruction about what are these transits all about and how can you best utilize them in your own life. Because to me, that's really the whole point of doing the transits and doing human design, is how are these tools and allies going to support us in our lives. So I hope that you will join us for one or both of those. So the new moon in Gemini is going to be happening in the gate 16. And you can see here from the chart that the sun and the moon are in the same gate. And let's remember, on a new moon, they're always in the same gate because we can't see the moon because it's right next to the sun, right? And new moons are always a good time to set new intentions for yourself, to be thinking about what is it that I want to be experiencing in my life during this next lunation? What is it that I want to be calling in? What is it that I want to be letting go of? We're still doing a lot of calling in and letting go and calling in and letting go. It's a really potent time for that. I mean, we're really just in a very powerful evolutionary process where we're being called to just continually strip away the old conditioning that doesn't work for us, and also to heal the trauma that a lot of us are carrying around, that we've got both from this life, because we all have some trauma from this life, but also from our soul's journey and from our ancestral line. So this is a very powerful time to be doing that healing work. And so when you're looking at what you want to focus on for this new moon, you might want to think about, what is it that I want to be healing, that I want to bring some more attention to, that I can, just really love in myself, so that it can resolve and then integrate and you can become more whole. So the gate 16 It's coming off the throat. It's over here. It's actually in the logic circuit or the pattern circuit. And in traditional human design, it's known as skills. And in quantum human design, it's known as zest. I love that word, zest. It's also part of the channel of talent. And I think of the 16 as kind of the, it's the just do it gate or the ready, fire, aim gate. It's kind of this enthusiasm for getting going. Right. And so this is a really great energy for us to have for a new moon because it will help ignite whatever it is that you're focusing on. And particularly if it's something that where you want to develop like a talent into a skill, because we're born with gifts and talents, right? And those are things that we brought in with us from our soul journey. I like to think of that we mastered them in other lives and now they're just easy for us to do. We all have them. But then it's a question of, do we do it another step and then turn that into a skill? So somebody, for example, who has a really good ear. They may even have perfect pitch. They have a beautiful voice, and they may choose to turn that into a skill if they practice singing, if they get some instruction about how to do that. But then another person might be like, yeah, I have all that, but it's not the thing that's really my jam. And so they don't develop that into a skill. It's still a talent that they have, but it doesn't become a thing that they're really going to focus on and develop over the course of their life. So this is a great time for you to be checking out for yourself. Are there talents and gifts that you have that maybe you've always wanted to develop into a skill, but you haven't done that, right? For whatever reason. I think very often we don't do it when the culture doesn't value the thing that we have a skill in, right? Or a gift or a talent in, right? I mean, that was true for me with intuition. I had a very strong gift for intuition as a kid, but my family didn't value it. It actually made my family uncomfortable because they were very intellectual and pretty left brain, and they didn't really like that, right? But there also wasn't any way to kind of understand it in the culture. Nobody in my environment was talking about it or anything. I mean, the only thing we had were like Ouija boards, if you guys are old enough to remember that, and seances and things like that, right? For me, I didn't develop my intuition until the second half. Really, I started in my 40s and I've been working on it, ever since. But that was something that was not alive for me in the sense that I was really working it and developing it into a skill until later on. So you may have some that you were like when you were younger, you are more aware of, but then you just turned another way. So this could be a really good time to do that. Now let's remember that Gemini is very mercurial, right? Because Gemini is literally ruled by Mercury, and mercurial is changeable, right? It's very moving and flexible and morphing, right? And so Gemini is a bit of a magician, right? Can morph things and can make magic and do things that we don't logically understand, even though Gemini and Mercury are both very mental, a lot of mental processing, right? A lot of thinking can happen during this time as well. So you want to make sure that the thinking doesn't end up running you around in circles, which of course is what can happen when we just give too much of our attention to our mental processes, but we're not really in command of them and we just kind of let it go. And then the mind, you know what this is like, right? Monkey mind, right? Busy mind, just too much in the mind. So if you find that happens, make sure that you get grounded, right? Barefoot on the ground, if you can, on the earth, literally on the earth. And also doing some type of just getting inside to the quiet, still place in you and just letting your mind soften, your thoughts slow down, coming into a more meditative or calm or peaceful state inside of you. Just make sure you're doing that on a regular basis. And I'm going to share in a minute why this is a particularly important time and you have all the energetic support you need to be doing that. And you'll also see, here's a picture of the mandala of the new moon. And we're going to zoom on. I know this is kind of a big picture, but I like to have it for you in case you want to screenshot it and keep it. And then let's go ahead and zoom in to the part of this which is really about the new moon. When we zoom in, we can see we have the sun and the moon are right there in the gate 16. But take a look at this. Right next to it is Mercury in the gate 20. And the 8 and the 20 and the 16 are all in Gemini. So here we've got Mercury in its own sign, the sign that it rules, and it is also conjunct this new moon. So what I was just saying about the mental processes and so on, even more so because here we've got Mercury right there. But the other piece of that about Mercury is communication. Right? This is going to facilitate your ability to speak up about things that are important to you and that may be connected, like I said, to the skills, right? To the skills, to the talents that you have, to what really brings you alive, that zest. That's what zest is, right? It's like what really brings you alive. So Mercury is in the 20, which is known as patience. It's metamorphosis in traditional human design and patience in quantum human design. And it is also on the throat. It's right next to the 16. But its character is quite different because it is in the knowing circuit or the integration circuit, both of which are individual circuitry. So here Mercury is giving us the ability to tune in to, is it the right time? Because the 20 is a lot about timing. It's like, is it the right time? Do we have the patience to wait until it's the right time? Because a lot of what comes through the individual circuitry is pretty out of the box. It is part of the evolutionary impulse of humanity is running through that gate 20. And so what it is that might be coming through that wants to be expressed with that Mercury could be pretty leading edge. And so you do want to make sure that you're looking at it in right timing. But it's also activating this new moon and the sun. And so we've got this conjunction that's happening so that Mercury is also going to be giving you the ability to speak up about whatever it is that you need to regarding how you're going to build some of your talents into skills. And then on top of that, we've got Uranus in the gate 8, which is right next to where Mercury is in the 20. And the gate 8 is the gate of contribution or fulfillment. So it's here on the throat, and it really is, it's the end of the knowing circuit. So this is also individual circuitry. And it's so much about how we show up in the world and how we contribute to the outer world. Its mate is the gate 1, which is on the top of the G center. And the gate 1 is about purpose. And that's really about the self. It's on the identity center. So our purpose is about how we feel connected to whatever it is we're engaged in, right? And ideally, we have that sense of zest when we are feeling on purpose about whatever we're doing. And then the mate of that one is the 8, which is where Uranus is. And Uranus has been here for a while. It's going to be here through the middle of July. And so that 8 is there saying, are you on track with the right contribution? And so if we kind of put these together, we'll see here that on the one hand, we've got this energy around zest and around, turning our gifts and talents into skills. And we also have the ability to be speaking up about that, tuning in, is it the right time? And then also, does this have to do with our contribution? Are we wanting to upgrade our contribution? Is the way that we're showing up in the world, does it feel alive for us? Does it feel in alignment? Is it really the thing that is right for you right now? Because sometimes we just go along, right? Kind of doing the same thing for years, and then it gets stale. And I think for a lot of us, many things that we've been doing are getting pretty stale. And so how do we bring more aliveness into however it is we're showing up in the world? And so this is a really good opportunity for you if you've been falling into any fear or despair or depression or anger or all of these things about what's going on in the outer world. The invitation here is really to go inside and see what is true for you and how are you showing up in the world? How can you upgrade the way that you are showing up in the world? How can you bring forth more of what's truly you, your gifts and talents that you're developing into skills? How do you do this so that the contribution that you're giving to the world is the highest possible contribution you can make and that it's deeply satisfying and fulfilling for you? And Uranus is here to break up the old, right? God of awakening, God of revolution. And the thing is like, if you know you need a change and you don't take action to do it, Uranus might just do it for you. You might get the cosmic acupuncture of Uranus to blow up whatever it is you know you need to change or you need to leave, but you haven't done it yet. So be paying attention to that, because cosmic acupuncture, well, you know, we all get it at some point, right? But it's better if we can take control, take command of our own evolutionary process and create our own breakthroughs and not wait for something to come to us from one of the sky gods. Yeah. And there's another really beautiful alignment that's going on during this new moon. And then I talked about it in the May transit report, because there's two different windows for this. If we look at the body graph for the new moon, we'll see that Neptune has moved into the gate 25, and we know that, right? Neptune's been there, Neptune's in Aries. And also right before this new moon, Saturn's going to move into Aries, but it's also in the gate 25. So you can see that here. Both of them are in the gate 25. And so this is a really powerful alignment, which I have talked about before. We'll continue to talk about, because the 25 is the love of spirit. It has to do with our relationship to our own spiritual or sovereign aspect. And it also has to do with our relationship to the larger all that is, and our spiritual practice, and how we're taking the time and giving our attention to connect the personality self, the you that you know as you, with your spirit self, your sovereign self, the what I'm like calling the light being that's within you. And you're giving attention to these two aspects of yourself and growing the sacred union between them, so that you are starting to live more and more as your spirit aspect in your everyday life. And now we've got Venus doing a little jaunt in the 51. You can see from this image that Mercury was there earlier in the month. Now Venus is there for a few days and is here during this new moon. And so we've got that beautiful channel of the 2551 lit up that connects the two different parts of the heart chakra, the G center and the will center, through the channel of the priest or priestess or the shaman. It's also known as the channel of initiation in quantum human design. And this is an energy through which we can individually initiate ourselves, create our own breakthroughs, and initiate ourselves into higher consciousness. And we can also help facilitate that in other people. But we have to make sure we're doing it at the right time, right? Because you've got the gate 20 lit up here. So we want to be patient, do it at the right time with the right people in the right situation. But always start with yourself. And so you might really just want to be asking yourself, what is the breakthrough that I need right now around my relationship to my spirit aspect and to the inner guidance that can be coming to me? This is individual circuitry. It's the centering circuit. There's only two different channels in the centering circuit. It's a small little circuit inside of individual circuitry, but it is going to be intuitive and leading edge because it is individual circuitry. So it's really leading us into the future. Okay, so with Neptune and Saturn and Venus here, they're all leading us into the future. And that has to do with our relationship to being able to connect with our inner guidance rather than tuning outside to what's going out there and just responding to that, or even worse, reacting to that. Well, there's a lot of reaction going on right now, a lot of reaction. And I'll just say that a lot of what the chaos and the tumultuousness that's going on is designed to generate fear. It is designed to do that. And so my suggestion to you is to do absolutely everything you can not to fall into fear. Do not give it your energy, because it disempowers you when you give into fear. It does. It puts you into a state where you're not able to think clearly. You're not able to hear your intuition clearly. Fear is really, really functional when your physical body is in danger. Literally, your physical body is in danger. Pretty much all the rest of the time, not so much. So double check, is your physical body in danger? Okay, if it's not, then let go of the fear. Okay, let go of the fear, come back into this beautiful heart that you have that's going to be all lit up during this time, and really be tuning in to that wise one within you and ask her to guide you. Ask for this impulse to be coming from the inside about where you're going. And you have so much energetic support for that. And then now on this new moon, write in your journal or make some sketching for it, or go and find images and put them together. Activate more of your right brain with this, right? Where you're not trying to think it through logically. You're not trying to figure it out. You're instead activating these other faculties that you have so that you become more open to the spiritual information and the divine inspiration that is wanting to come to you, but you have to be open to receive it. And when you're in too much fear and when you're focusing on the craziness that's happening in the outer world, you can't hear that inner guidance. And I'm not saying don't be active in the world. If you feel from your inner guidance that you need to go take an action, by all means do that. But make sure it's coming from a deep place inside of yourself and not because you're reacting to somebody else doing something that you think is wrong or bad. Okay? Because it's can pull you into a really negative downward spiral that will disempower you rather than empowering you. And so to me, this is probably the biggest transformation we're in right now, is being able to have command of our energy, have command of our attention, our focus, our life force energy, and to be sending it first of all inside so that we can be getting accurate guidance from our inner being, our divine self, the wise one within, your sovereign self, whatever you want to call that more expanded light being aspect of you, which is not just material and not just on the earth plane, has a much bigger perspective than your personality self has. And this is a big part of our evolutionary process into creating the new world, because we want to create the new world from that kind of consciousness, not from the fear consciousness, not even from the fight consciousness, not even from the rescuer consciousness. Right? Because victim, perpetrator, rescuer, it's all part of that same paradigm. And so we want to be able to step out of all of that and learn to live differently based in our hearts. So you've got all the energetic support you need for that during this new moon, which will set you up for the whole next lunation. All right, my friends, I invite you again to come and check out the Sovereign Sisterhood. We would love to have you if it feels like a good fit for you. We only open registration for it a few times a year. So if you're interested in working more with me, if you're interested in being with a committed group of awakening women who are very supportive, and who really like to be, go deep with human design, with their evolutionary process. We also do Kundalini yoga. We do creative process. There's a lot of different things that we do. But mostly we're there really supporting each other, because what I was just talking about that transition of not being reactive and coming from the heart, it's not an easy thing to do. Let me just put it that way for a lot of us, right? Because our conditioning and our training and what's going on in the outer world is all trying to push you in an opposite direction. And this is why having a community of support can be so beneficial, because you keep coming back. You have a touchstone that says, remember, go inside, listen to what's inside. And then you get to express it and talk about it and share it, and then see what are going to be your best next steps. And then let us know if you're interested in the Human Design Transit Self-Study Program, which will be ready probably by mid-June, early June, mid-June. Okay, so just go ahead and get on our waiting list. It's totally free, and it doesn't obligate you to do anything. It just lets us know that, yeah, I'm interested. All right, my friends, many blessings. May you have a beautiful lunation. Take good care of yourself. Take good care of the people in your life. And I'll see you next time. Bye for now.